Hello. Happy Friday. Can you hear me okay? I keep trying to adjust my camera situation. I'm going to be redoing my office this weekend and I'm super excited, but until then, you're going to have to bear with me looking in the wrong direction all the time. How are you doing, Butterfly Kisses Healing? I see that Fleming's off to get herself a drink. That's fantastic. So, I just sort of thought, well, that's good. I'm glad that you're doing awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Um, I just sort of thought that I would pop on and we could just chat, see how everybody's doing, throw some oracle cards. Um, I know that there's been some news that's happened over the last couple hours that no one is very happy about, and so I thought, we might be able to share a couple of giggles and just see if we can't, temporarily make ourselves feel a little less stressed, right? My day is going pretty good, pretty good. I didn't have a great night last night in terms of I popped on a show with Kathleen J. Lightworker and Bright Opal Sophie, and my husband had brought home dinner, and so I wasn't able to eat it before I got on the show, so I had to eat it after the show, and so that was like 8 o'clock at night, and it sort of like stuck right in my esophagus, right in my throat, and I sort of decided that I would go outside, and it was snowing here, freezing rain, hail, the whole bit. And I sat out on my front porch with my winter coat and my winter boots on, with the umbrella up, and drank a couple of cups of tea, and just sort of watched everything happen. And it was lovely and calming, and it was cold and it was a bit wet, but it did exactly what I thought it would do. I love that time of the evening. It's just so peaceful and calming, I find. So that is what I did last night, which was a little bizarre. And then today, more snow we've had, and it's been raining on and off, and then the sun's come out. It's been kind of a weird weather day, but it is now 6:06 Eastern time here, and it's 2 degrees Celsius, which is about, what is that? It's about 34 degrees, 35 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's cold. Winter is definitely on its way. Hi, Sharon Sight. How are you doing? So I'm not really sure what made me think of this, but this just kind of popped into my mind today. I want to share this story with you. It's kind of funny. Well, I think it's kind of funny. It's a memory from my childhood, and again, I don't know. Maybe I had a dream last night or something. I don't recall, but this has been on my mind all day, so I'm not really sure why. Um, so maybe the people in the chat can help me analyze my dream here. Hi, Flowing. What'd you get to drink? Hi, Anna Banana. Thank you for joining me. So here's my funny story about my childhood. Like I said, I don't know if I was dreaming this last night or not, or what it all means, or if it means anything. So I think that I am in like grade 7 at the time. So however old that makes you, like, what is that? 12, 13. It's summertime, and I have a sister who's 5 years younger than me, and my parents are both at work. Oh, hot chocolate for everyone. Flowing, I was just saying that it snowed here last night and it's snowing again today, so I'm thrilled that you have hot chocolate. I definitely want some of that. So here we are at home during the summertime, and my parents had bought us one of those like stand up pools, with the aluminum walls. It's about 3 feet high and about maybe 4 or 5 feet in diameter. And the rule was we were not allowed to go in the swimming pool without my parents being home. And of course, we're kids. And so what did we do? We went in the swimming pool. And now I don't know why, because, I don't know why we chose to go in the swimming pool at the time that we chose to go in the swimming pool. But anyhow, we went in the swimming pool. And it was a very flimsy swimming pool. It was not, solidly built by any stretch of the imagination. And anyhow, we were swimming around, and then we did what we were told not to do, and that was to lean on the side of the swimming pool. When we leaned on the side of the swimming pool, the whole thing crashed, caved in, water everywhere. Now, it may not have been a big pool, but there was an awful lot of water in it. And I am not sure what we were thinking, but we were in the pool at exactly the time that my parents would be coming home. So that wasn't really smart. But anyhow, so there we are, leaning up against the side of the pool, and we hear crack. Next thing you know, the whole side caved in. And now we are like rushing down the backyard, right? Like the water's coming out. We're like sliding with the water. It's going like down the driveway as my parents drive up in the driveway. When my dad got out of the car, that instinctual feeling inside you that's like, oh boy. So my dad just looked at us and pointed at the door. And we both went inside. I sat in my room for hours, it seemed. Probably was just a couple of minutes, thinking like any minute now my dad's going to come in here and I'm going to get like this whole lecture, right? He never said anything. Hi, Kathleen. How are you? The next day, when you're a kid and like you're not sure if you're okay, if you're in trouble, should you say something, should you not, has it been forgotten, like you're sort of trying to gauge the temperature of the room, right? So we come downstairs, and breakfast was always a big deal in my family. So we came downstairs and we were eating our breakfast, and nobody's like it seems like everything's fine, and it's like, okay, so it's summer, and so we go outside, and we're looking at the pool, which is all collapsed, and we want to ask, like, are we going to fix it? Because of course we want to go swimming, and we're too afraid to ask. And so then we warm up to my mom, and we say to our mom, hey, do you think Daddy's going to fix the pool? Anyways, long story short, my father decided to leave the pool like that, squashed up, smashed in on one side for the rest of the summer. That was our lesson. That was our punishment for not listening to the instructions that he gave us. Hi, Ron. How are you? And I was reminded of that story. Like I said, I don't know if I had a dream or not last night or whatever, but it stuck in my mind, and I know I didn't give it justice when I told it, but I will tell you this, that it was one of the funniest things that I remember from my childhood. That, and my father used to drive transport, right? Transport like tractor trailer. And he had a regular job on the week, and then he drove on the weekends. And quite often on the weekends, he would come home and he would take me with him because it was only to Buffalo or maybe to Quebec and back to Ontario. And so he would come home and I would go in the truck with him. And I was a great a kid to take in the car because 20 minutes in and I was out. I love the motion of the car. It always made me very sleepy. So to take me with him was like no big deal, right? So he pulls up in his truck and I don't know what time of night it is. I know it's dark and, I'm all excited. I've got my little bag packed because we stay overnight in the truck and then we come home the next morning. And so I have my little bag packed and I feel like I'm going somewhere special, right? And I get in the truck and my dad takes me to the store and buys me treats that I wouldn't normally get. One of my favorite things as a treat when I was a kid that only came out every once in a while were, I don't know if you guys know what this is, but they're like chocolate covered marshmallow, like suckers, like on a stick. Well, I used to have hair past my behind when I was younger. I mean, I've always really had long hair, but when I was young, it was really long. And the inside of my dad's truck was purple, like a purpley indigo blue kind of color. And I fell asleep, as I said I would do, with the chocolate marshmallow sucker in my hand. And it was all in my hair and all over my clothes and all over the seat. It was down the door, on the window. It was everywhere. And when my father realized that I had fallen asleep with a sucker in my hair, he tried, God love him, to get it out. Now, my dad used to have a mustache. And so he always had like a little black comb in the back pocket. And he whipped out that black comb, which was like, this big. It was for a mustache. It wasn't for, like I have a lot of hair, right? And he's trying, God love him. He's trying and he's pulling my hair out of my head and I'm crying and I'm like, Daddy, it hurts, right? Anyway, he's pulling, like I had like a rat's nest at the side of my head from this chocolate marshmallow. Anyway, he got out clippers from some kind of like, I don't know, nail kit or something I don't know how he had clippers, like little scissors. I mean, like almost like a sewing kit kind of scissors. And he hacked a piece of my hair off. I cried for probably weeks, probably 3 weeks. I cried. Like I just uncontrollably sobbed. And my dad, again, just, said to me like, well, if you had have not, fallen asleep with the sucker, like basically if I had been more responsible. And I'm like, I was like 5, like give me a break. But yeah, that's another funny story from my childhood, which just reminds me of another funny story. This one has nothing to do with me, and it's very quick. Because my father drove transport truck in our the beginning of our childhood, he wasn't around a whole lot. And so when he was, we were like, Daddy, you know what I mean? And my dad had a little green Volkswagen Bug, like Herbie. And honestly, so he's outside and he's washing the cars, my mom's car and his little green Volkswagen Bug. And I don't know, we went in for like lunch or whatever. And anyhow, next thing we know, we hear all this like yelling and screaming and like hooting and hollering from outside. And we're like, what's going on, right? And we go out and my sister decided to help. And at the time, my sister was like 3. And she decided to help my dad wash the car. So she put the hose in, like rolled the window down, stuck the hose in, and then turn the hose on, and then she went in for lunch. So she flooded my dad's car. And then there was like all kinds of issues. Anyways, yeah, that's another funny story from my childhood. I do have another really, really funny story. Again, these are funny to me, probably not funny to anybody else, but I've said many times throughout the course of these few videos that I've posted up that I have never slept well, like, and that, I mean, as far back as I can remember. So I used to get up in the middle of the night and I would be hungry. I wanted something to eat, and so we used to joke and say my mother must not have, she must have taken us off the bottle too soon or something. I don't know, but anyhow, there I am in the kitchen. And what I would do is I would pull the drawers out and I would climb up on the drawers and then get on the countertop, and then I'd open up the cupboard in pitch dark and start, pulling stuff out of the cupboard and make myself whatever to eat. I'm probably like about 4, 5 when I'm doing this. And so my father comes home from his truck driving job. And when I said that he wasn't around a lot, like he would come home at like 2, 3 in the morning, right? Or maybe 6 a.m., depending on where he had to go. So he comes in, it's the middle of the night. I don't know what time it is. And I'm in the kitchen. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I jump off the counter, leaving the cupboards open and the drawers open, and I hide underneath the table. The things that kids do, right? So I'm going to age myself here when I share this little detail of my house with you guys. So we had those. Do you guys know what saloon doors are? They're like almost like shutters that you would find like in an old bar. That's what was in the hallway going into the kitchen. So my dad came through the front door, which is in the hallway, walks directly up to those saloon doors, opens them up, and walks right into the cupboard. Bang, right in the head, right? I start laughing. I'm hiding underneath the table and I start laughing. Oh my God, you guys, honestly, funniest story ever. My dad, well, neither one of my parents really swore. Like, it wasn't a thing that was done in our house, but the words that came out of my dad's mouth, I was like, oh boy, like I am in so much trouble. Anyway, so my dad's yelling and hooting and hollering, and my mom comes, gets out of bed. She comes flying down the stairs like, what's going on? Like, this whole panic has ensued because of what I did, right? And my father, again, does the go to your room, right? So I go upstairs to my room. He's continuously talking to me as I'm going to my room, telling me to pull my pants down because I'm gonna get a licking, right? I'm gonna get a spanking. And I go in my room and I am sobbing my heart out. I'm not even sure why I'm crying. Like, I don't know if I'm upset because he hit his head. I don't know if I'm upset because he swore. I don't know if I'm upset because I got caught, like or because now he's yelling at me. Like, I don't know but I'm upset, right? So he's ranting and raving. Now him and my mom are having this like full on fight as to the level of consequence that should be handed down to me because of what I did, right? And my mom's basically saying, like, it's the middle of the night, like, relax, right? It was an accident. And he's like, yeah, but she does it all the time and someone's going to get hurt and blah, 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 right? Anyway. So I'm upstairs in my room with my pants down, sitting on my bed, waiting for the spanking to start. And I'm there, and I'm there, and I'm there, and nothing's happening. And now I'm not crying. Now I'm just like bored. And I remember standing up a few times and going to pull up my pants and then thinking, no, I probably shouldn't do that, because as soon as I pull up my pants and think like, I've sort of surpassed the anger, that's when he's going to walk in, right? And then I'm going to make him mad all over again. So I opened up the door. called out to my dad. And I'm like, Daddy, are you coming? Oh my God. Anyways, the point of the story is my father never came upstairs, and I stayed in my room because I really like, I mean, I'd never been in that kind of trouble before. Like I was definitely gonna, like, something was gonna happen. Anyways, I stayed in my room and I peed my pants because I didn't want to leave my room. Oh. And then the next day I had to try to scrape peanut butter and jam off of the countertop with my mother because that's what I was making, was peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I had raspberry jam and peanut butter stuck to the cupboards and the counter and everywhere else. Yeah. That's my funny story. Anybody want to share a funny story from their childhood? I know it's a little difficult in the chat, but I thought that I would share that with you. As I said, I know it's been kind of a tough news day, and I don't know about you guys, but it feels like kind of a tough week. Not tough, more like a heavy week, if you know what I mean. And so I thought that I would just, start with a few funny little stories and help to relieve a little bit of pressure and a little bit of tension. Do you guys have any big plans for this weekend? Are you doing anything special? I was hoping to put some Christmas decor out on outside on the front, but we're supposed to have like snow and wet rain all weekend, so I'm not really wanting to stand out there and look like a wet noodle when I'm done. So I don't know if that will happen or not, but I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of year. And I have such fond memories of Christmas when I was growing up. My grandmother's birthday was Christmas Day. And she told us one time, oh heck, I was probably like a good 17 or 18 years old, that because her birthday was Christmas Day, that she never had a separate birthday present. It was always combined with Christmas. And probably from about that, I don't know, 15, 16, from about that moment when I realized, like, that's terrible. All of the grandchildren, and I was the second oldest of all the grandchildren, we all went out of our way to make her birthday separate and special from Christmas. So we would, no matter where she went, because she had a lot of daughters, so she would like rotate, right, and go different places. And we would have Christmas dinner, and then we would, take some Christmas decorations down and throw up some birthday decorations, and we'd start partying all over again. And then we would all go to wherever she was so we could all be together for her birthday. And we made a huge fuss. Huge fuss. I mean, I realize that not everybody has a big fuss over their birthday, and some people aren't really into it, but to never be acknowledged as, that everyone else in your family has a special day, but that you don't, no matter whether you receive a bunch of gifts or you don't, it's just to be acknowledged. I thought that was very sad. Flo, you're just chilling out. Butterfly, you know what? I went outside. Like I said, I sat outside last night in the snow on my front porch in my winter boots and my my big parka with an umbrella, and nothing. There was absolutely nothing to see. So I don't know when it happened, but I do know that False Teeth Real Tarot, or she filmed some of the moon last night on her channel. If you want to check that out, you can see it there. I seen that this morning. Well, I didn't see the video, but I got a notification, and that's like, the picture. On a banana. I slept through it as well. Had a major energy drop. Went to bed. Well, it's fantastic. They had a good night's sleep. That's important. Yeah. I tried to make an effort, when I became aware of like full moons and what the potential is and what they could do for you. I tried to go out there and watch the last couple of full moons that we've had, probably since like July or August. But like I said, I did go out last night, but it was completely black here, so I didn't see anything. And I looked it up yesterday, and they said that full moon would be visible. I don't know, like 4 something in the morning, for most of North America. I don't know how that's possible, but anyways, that's what it said. So I missed it. So last night's full moon is called the Beaver Moon. Apparently, it used to be called the Frosty Moon, and in some places, I'm sure it's still referred to as that way. I thought that was an interesting little tidbit fact that I found out. Yeah. Do you guys have any rituals for your full moon? Like, to do anything special or different or whatever for a full moon? I don't know why that fascinates me so much, but I watched on a chat. I was in somebody's chat, and they said to me that, or they said, sorry, not to me, that they write their intentions out and then put it in like a Tupperware container or a jar, and put it outside and let it soak up the moonlight. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And so whatever the next full moon was that came after I had heard that, I thought, I'm going to try that. Well, of course, that it was pouring down rain because like there's always a reason, right? And so I decided that I would. Now, don't laugh when I tell you this. This is very scientific. I write my intentions on a piece of paper, and then I fold it up and I put it in a baggie, and I tape the baggie to my window. So the moonlight kind of goes over top of my house, and so the moonlight hopefully is, shining on my intentions, shall we call it. It's a very scientific method I've created there for myself, but it was windy where you are, flowing. Oh, and you felt it too. Cool. That's very cool. I don't know if I felt it or I didn't, because I'm not sure what I could feel or what I should be feeling. But I've kind of been in a, not funny, like haha, but kind of an odd mood. Like, 1 minute I'm like, yeah, let's do something. Next minute I'm like, I'm really kind of tired. And then there was a point today where I was just like blah, like not really feeling anything, good, bad, or otherwise. So I'm not sure if that has anything to do with full moon or if it's just me being who I am. I light a candle and write down what I want to release and my intentions, and I pray on it all. Oh, that's really beautiful, Flying. I like that. I'm always trying to figure out, what I can do to assist myself, and so I'm always interested in what other people do, and if it helps them. So I appreciate you sharing that. It's kind of cool. All right, let's pull a couple oracle cards, shall we? What would you guys like? We have the Guiding Light Tarot. We have the Secret Language of Color. We have the Archangel Animal. We have the Native Spirit. And we have the Soul's Journey. Anyone you would like? We will pull a couple. Every moon makes you feel different. I mean, I've heard that in many of the shows and many of the chats where they're talking about, different things that they're feeling. And I don't know that I have so many weird things that go on with me that I mean, honestly, I wouldn't know to attribute it to me or to someone else. All right. We have 2 requests for the Secret Language of Color cards. I adore these cards, but they are massively big. Massively big for my wee hands. The only saving grace is that there isn't that many of them, so it's okay. Just going to run them over my candle here. Alrighty, are we ready? Oh, lovely. Can you guys see that? Ruby. Gorgeous card. So Ruby, regenerate, good grief, rejuvenate your body. Apparently I need to rejuvenate my eyeballs as well. Card number is 8. Let us see what the message is about rejuvenating one's body. If it requires any kind of yoga, I'm out. I'm too old to be trying to turn myself into any kind of pretzel. Ruby is a color of dynamicism, rejuvenation, and strength, increasing your stamina and filling you up with energy and an enthusiasm for life. It is a color for prosperity, courage, achievement, and motivation. Ruby also encourages shy people to come out of their shell by building confidence. Use ruby light to feel truly alive and dynamic. So this is really interesting. This is why I like this deck of cards for the following message. And I read that the author of these cards, which is, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, it's Ina Segal. She had issues with her back, and through meditation was able to channel healing messages to herself and heal her back. And apparently she did it through color. And she's written several healing type books that you can find on Amazon if anyone's interested. I just thought I'd offer that little tidbit. All right, this is what it says. Shake your right hand for 30 seconds, then rest for 15 seconds. Shake your left hand for 30 seconds, then rest it for 15 seconds. Then shake your whole body for 30 seconds and rest it for 15 seconds. Repeat these 3 steps 3 times. Now rub the palms of your hands together for 40 seconds. This exercise helps to warm, awaken, and rejuvenate your body. Isn't that cool? It says that visualize ruby light moving through your body, cleansing your blood and stimulating your energy. Become aware of what it is like to feel truly alive. Honestly, you guys, to feel truly alive. Clearly, the full moon has affected me in some way. I don't know. Or maybe it's just me, like I said. You might even decide to wear a ruby pendant or to hold a ruby crystal to strengthen your body and motivate you for success. Say, divine healing intelligence, please release all pain, stress, and tiredness and infuse my body with healing, rejuvenating, and revitalizing energy. I love these cards. You're right, flowing color can do a lot, and I think what's like, not funny, haha, but we used to have a show here in Canada. I'm not sure if it was ever in the States. It was called Color Confidential. And it's a Canadian designer that developed this show, and it was like a decorating show for your house. And she used the color wheel based on your hobbies or your passions. So if it was cars, it had, that was the theme of the wheel. And the idea was that you would be drawn to pick out a color based on a hobby that you had, if you understand what I mean. And that's when I became fascinated with the philosophy behind colors. was from watching that show and the little tidbits of information that she would throw out. Like for example, they say not to paint your dining room red because it can increase appetite, and it can also increase sort of like not anger, but sort of like a short fuse. And that's why a lot of restaurants are painted in those shades, because they want to increase your appetite. Something simple like that. I find that fascinating. Probably because I would have never thought of that on my own. All right, and for Kathleen, the Chakra Love cards. It's the only deck of cards that I have. Yes, agitation. Thank you, Flying. It's the only deck of cards that I can actually fit in my hand. Because they're like the size of a business card. It's not fun having hands the size of an 8-year-old. I have to tell you. When you're a 50-plus woman. I don't know. Oops, sorry. Let me see if I can get that to come in clearer. Dreams. Dreams are where your mind translates the divine. Your third eye chakra. And the crystal that they mention here is a labradite or labrador. How do you say that? Labradite. Yes, I said it right the first time. My only complaint about these cards, and I don't know if you can see it, see here where all the color is? The crystal is mentioned under here, and sometimes depending on the color that's here, you can't really read what that little word says. It's printed so tiny. Anyway, I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I just ordered myself some crystals today. And what I ordered was they're little tiny heart-shaped stones, but they're very small. They're not the ones that you fit in your palm, and they're for all your chakras. So we're gonna give that a whirl and see if that can do anything to assist with said journey. To overall health and wellness. So I'm excited about those. I love this deck of cards that I received here. This is the Guiding Light Oracle. I just adore them. My only complaint is that they're ginormous, and there's many of them. But I love the imagery. I love the words. My cats are going absolutely insane behind me. Absolutely insane. This card wants to come out. It's like, oh, there's actually two here. They're like sitting sideways in the deck. Whoops, hold on. I can't actually show. See? All right, let's pull those out. Let's see what we got. Oh, lovely. So, the first card, Wishing on a Star. Isn't that pretty? For all those that didn't see the full moon last night, that's what the full moon is. I'm kidding. I'm joking. So that's card number 25. Wishing on a Star. It is time for you to dream again. Go ahead, make a wish. It just might come true. And then, yeah, they must flowing because they're going absolutely like nuts behind me here. The second one, now I pulled this yesterday. Or no. Did I pull this yesterday? Maybe I don't know. I pulled this week. So Untapped Inner Power. I mean, the colors are just stunning on this card. Blues and purples and reds. There's a little bit of orange, some gold. Just gorgeous. Card number is 24 for those of us that are into numerology. You are getting ready to experience great power from within yourself. So you've got Ruby to rejuvenate your body. You've got Dreams from the Chakra Love card. You've got Wishing Upon a Star and Untapped Inner Power. That's pretty awesome. I love the message, right? If you take care of yourself, you're obviously more powerful. You rejuvenate your body, and the sky's the limit. That's how I'm looking at it. I love that. I love that. I love it. Can I tell you what my cat did today? Oh, I'm glad, Flowing. So I have 3 cats, Austin, Charlotte, and Quincy. So I'm sitting here and I'm getting ready, and my cat Quincy is wonderful. I love him to bits. He's a great cat. He's very sweet and very kind and very loving, but he is also extremely mischievous. And I mean extremely mischievous. He loves plastic. He loves cords. He loves anything that he can chew. And he loves hair. My hair. So I'm sitting here and he's on my lap, and I don't know if I was I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I was watching a show on YouTube, and he decided that was the moment in time when he should start chewing my hair. And he gets aggressive with it, right? So he's chewing it and he's pulling on it, and I'm like, stop. So I'm not getting mad at him, but I'm saying, like, no, that's bad. Don't do that, right? And he puts his head back in my lap, and he's laying, and I'm petting him, and I'm not paying attention. And he turns around and grabs my hair and pulls it like that. And I'm like, Quincy, stop. Then he scratched me. I had a little mark right there on my face. I was like, okay, get off my lap. You're done. Like, I've been sitting here with my hair like in a ponytail or something. And he's jumped up on the back of the chair and just like pounced on my head. I don't know where the fascination with hair comes from, and it doesn't matter if it's wet or dry. So I find that really odd. Never had a cat that had a hair thing before. I find that really odd behavior. But yeah, one time it's a favorite story. So we got. All of our cats are from the animal shelter, but Quincy and Charlotte are actually biological brother and sister. And we got them just a couple of weeks before we all went on lockdown with the pandemic. And it was maybe just a couple of months after they first got here. And, my husband takes, stuff out of his pocket and puts it on the dresser or whatever. I was sitting in the living room, and Quincy came out to the living room with a $10 bill in his mouth that he got off of the dresser, was chewing it. Last night there was Q-tips all over the hallway. So he got into the garbage, which has a lid, I might add, in the bathroom, and decided that he would go through that and pull out used Q-tips, which is just, lovely, right? I'm like very mischievous cat, very mischievous cat. Like, he's sitting here right now beside me on the bed. I have a day bed in my office, with his foam ball in his mouth, listening to me because I keep mentioning his name. So he's not sure if I'm like, if it's playtime or if he's if he's gonna get a treat or what. And I don't know what was going on just a moment ago when I said that they were going crazy, because Charlotte came in here, jumped up on the bed where he was, and Charlotte went down the other side of the, like, she fell down the other side of the bed and hit the wall. And anyway, What goes on in my house, I can't tell you. Oh, no, he doesn't. Butterfly kisses. So this is interesting. So I'm shuffling the Soul's Journey cards and while I'm talking, and this flipped right over. It says, I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And I spoke about this yesterday. I was on with Kathleen J. Lightworker, like I said, and Bright Opal Sophie. And I said yesterday on that show that avoidance breeds anxiety. And I've only recently learned that. I mean, it makes perfect sense, but I never thought of it in that kind of a term. And I just think that's really interesting that I pulled that card. Because it is something that I consciously need to remind myself of every day, that, I may have fears and phobias about certain things, but I still have to put my foot forward and give it a shot. I have to try. And I just think that's really interesting. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. I love it. Yeah. I've tried to explain the tarot cards to my husband to the best of my ability. Like if I've been on a show and, like back 7-8 months ago, if I had asked a question and someone answered, and I'd be like, oh, listen to what they said. And he doesn't understand any of, like, none of it makes sense to him. It gets a little lost in the translation, shall we say. And that I'm not surprised by that per se, but he's a very open-minded person. So it's not that he's not interested to try to figure it out. But we're both fire signs. So if something doesn't speak to us, it's very difficult to get us to sort of want to give it an actual try, like an honest chance, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to pull one more card, and then I'm going to let you guys get on with your Friday night. I don't know that this helped or that it didn't help, but I do appreciate you joining me. I just, I was thinking about everybody and thought, I'm not very happy about the news that I heard today, and there was lots of readers jumping on, and you could tell by some of the things that were being said in the chat that, people were stressed and concerned. And I just thought, you know what, we're going into the weekend. It felt like a weighty week to me. And I was just trying to do, my little bit, and maybe I could offer a little bit of time where you weren't thinking about anything in particular. So I don't know if it worked or not, but I hope that you enjoyed yourself while you were here. Let's pull. This is from the Native Spirit deck, and I really like this deck. It speaks to me. I really love the messages in this deck. Let me grab the book here so that we can see what we've got. And we have Sweat Lodge. Now, has anybody here ever been to a sweat lodge? I've never been to a sweat lodge. Here is the message. Excuse me. Card meaning: cleanse yourself. Body, mind, and soul. Purify. Clutter, clear. Let go of objects and relationships that no longer serve you. Purify your body. Go within, meditate, talk to the Creator, and give thanks. Your native spirit wants you to know sweat lodges are small dome structures covered with skins, blankets, or mud in which very hot stones are placed in the center. Water is poured over the stones so that hot steam arises from the rocks, thus the sweat. With its hot steam, it is used for purification ceremonies as well as a place to commune with the divine. Sometimes this card chooses you when it's time to do some physical detoxification, fast for a day, drink green juices, clear out some clutter, love it, use it, or get rid of it. Even one small item can make a difference. Interesting message. Now, on a banana, here's the thing. I would love to do this as well because I may not look like an outgirlsy girl, but this is totally my jam, right? Totally my jam. However, I get claustrophobic and I have a particular age group that I no longer really enjoy a lot of heat. So I don't know that I could do it. So if we could do a sweat lodge that had air conditioning in it, maybe I'd be into it. Look at me trying to, that was my injection of humor in that. No, seriously, like I used to go in saunas and stuff. I used to love them. There is no way. I mean, I can barely handle sitting in a room that doesn't have a window open. Even that starts to, you know what I mean? Starts to get me a little excited. So that small of a space with heat, I would have anxiety. Yeah, it did. I don't know why or when or how, but it seems to be getting worse. Like when I was a little kid, my mother, for example, was afraid of the car wash. You know, the drive-through car washes. And she would go to the car wash, you know, if my dad wasn't home or around, and the attendant would have, I mean, you know, back in the day when you had an attendant, the attendant would drive my mom's car through. She would lose her ever loving marbles. And that is, I mean, she had no issues that we're aware of. Bye, Ron. I really enjoyed your show with Linda G, by the way. Congratulations on that. Hope you have a good weekend. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know where that came from or why that bothered her, but I mean, that's a memory for my whole entire childhood. Like if we went to a car wash, she would be like, nope, sorry. And then when I got old enough, I'd drive the car through. I'd have to drop her off at the desk or whatever at the station. But I've never had any issues like that until this anxiety came, and it's just, I remember. So my mom passed in March of 2012, and in June or July of 2012, as I said in a previous video, my husband and I used to run a car club, and we had planned, it was our anniversary show, like the 10th anniversary or whatever it was, and we had planned like a weekend show where we were staying in a hotel for a week. I couldn't do it. And we had the presidential suite, you know, like we had rooms, right? I couldn't do it. I had to sleep in my car for 5 days because I couldn't be up there. There was no, like, you couldn't open the windows there even, and I had the air conditioner cranked. I couldn't do it. It's awful. Bye, Anna Banana. Hope you have a great weekend, love. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, so I can't really do those kind of spaces either. They kind of trip me out. And I, you know, and it doesn't bother me. I just kind of go with it. You know what I mean? Bothered me when it first started, but it doesn't bother me now, right? We've had snow inside the bedroom, right? Because the bedroom window's wide open or whatever the case may be. We're driving in the car and I've had the window frozen open, right? Because I have to have it open. I can't. I always have to have the fresh air. Can't. I don't know. If that's the worst thing that I have to deal with in my life, I guess I consider myself pretty lucky. right? Well, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm sure I will see you around in the chats. I hope that this, kind of helped a little bit. Or maybe it just filled a gap of time that you were looking for something to do. I really appreciate you guys joining me, as always. You have my gratitude and my thanks and my appreciation for all your love and your kindness and your support. You guys are the very best support system I have ever had, aside, of course, from my husband and my family. But you're right up there. Anyways, we will see each other again next week. And until then, blessings. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.